Illegal appointment. That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
Several new developments in South suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
Can you imagine the audacity of a mayor who's already been accused of mismanaging millions in taxpayer money, now asking those very same people to donate millions more to bail her out? Well, that's exactly what Tiffany Henyard, the controversial mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is doing. This small town just outside of Chicago is in financial turmoil, and Tiffany, the woman at the center of it all, has set up a fundraising campaign hoping to pull in a staggering $10 million to cover the damage she caused. But here's the kicker, it's all under the guise of a GoFundMe campaign, and as you might imagine, people aren't buying it. Instead, the outrage is palpable, and many are calling her latest move nothing short of a desperate attempt to sidestep responsibility.
Mayor Henyard fired her chief of police late last year without any approval from the village board. So now Robert Collins has filed a lawsuit against the village.
Now, if you're wondering how this all started, buckle up because Tiffany's story is a roller coaster of drama, financial scandal, and epic failure. We're talking about a mayor who seemingly treated her town's budget like her personal bank account, indulging in lavish spending, taking out massive loans she couldn't repay, and leaving the town of Dolton in such a mess that even the police cars are at risk of being repossessed. Yeah, it's that bad. This all came to a head when Tiffany filed for bankruptcy, which, let's face it, is ironic given that she's been accused of financially ruining Dolton. Reports have surfaced about her using public money to fund everything from extravagant trips to high-end personal luxuries, all while the town's infrastructure crumbled and residents struggled to make sense of where their hard-earned tax money was going. Filing for bankruptcy feels like the inevitable conclusion to a saga marked by reckless financial decisions. But the idea that she's now asking for public donations to dig herself out of this hole, it's almost too much for many to stomach.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township supervisor.
The GoFundMe campaign was launched under the premise that Tiffany needed the money to address what she vaguely described as unforeseen financial hardships, but come on, everyone knows what's really going on here. She's in deep trouble, and she's hoping that a mix of desperation and a carefully crafted sob story will get everyday people to save her from financial ruin. The problem is, it's hard to feel sympathy for someone who, by all accounts, dug her own grave and now expects others to climb in after her with their wallets open.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there won't be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Reactions to the campaign have been swift and brutal. Social media has exploded with comments from residents and onlookers alike, many of whom are furious at the audacity of Tiffany's plea for help. One comment perfectly captured the sentiment, saying, "So the joke of a mayor who stole millions of taxpayers' money has started a GoFundMe asking taxpayers to pay again. The arrogance and entitlement are sickening." Another added, "She needs to see the inside of a prison cell for many years. Taxpayers should demand justice." And who can blame them? After watching their town fall apart under Tiffany's leadership, the idea that she's now turning to the same people she betrayed for financial support feels like a slap in the face.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
The reality is that Tiffany's tenure as mayor has been nothing short of a disaster for Dolton. When she took office, there was hope that she would bring some positive changes. But those hopes quickly faded as stories of her mismanagement and personal indulgence began to surface. One of the most jaw-dropping examples of her spending was the revelation that she blew nearly $900,000 on makeup alone. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million in cosmetics while her town was sinking into debt. It's moments like this that make her GoFundMe campaign seem even more outrageous.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
And then there are the loans. Tiffany didn't just mismanage taxpayer money, she also took out millions in personal loans that she couldn't repay. As creditors close in, lawsuits are flying, and bankruptcy looms large, it's clear that Tiffany's lavish lifestyle was built on borrowed time and borrowed money. While she was living it up, taking trips to Las Vegas and throwing parties, the town of Dolton was falling apart at the seams. Basic services suffered, and reports indicate that even the local police department was struggling to stay afloat. Some say that police cars were on the verge of being repossessed due to the financial crisis Tiffany helped create.
You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
But as the investigation progresses, it's not just Tiffany's financial mismanagement that's raising eyebrows. Rumors are swirling about her alleged use of public property as collateral for personal loans. Yes, you heard that right. There's speculation that she put Dolton's assets, including public buildings and land, on the line to secure her personal loans. If this turns out to be true, it could be one of the most brazen abuses of power in recent memory, leaving the already struggling town in even deeper trouble. Public outrage has intensified, with residents and officials alike calling for a full audit of the town's finances to uncover just how deep Tiffany's financial schemes go.
But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo.
To make matters worse, there are also allegations of shady dealings with the Section 8 housing program. This program is supposed to help low-income families secure decent housing, but instead of ensuring that repairs were made and the funds were used properly, Tiffany allegedly pocketed the money while neglecting her duties. One report suggested that she was collecting payments from the program while gallivanting off on vacations, using taxpayer money to fund trips to, you guessed it, Las Vegas. It's this kind of behavior that has completely eroded trust within the community.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
As if things couldn't get any worse for Tiffany, there's also a federal investigation in the works. The FBI has reportedly been digging into her financial activities for some time now, issuing subpoenas and interviewing witnesses. It seems that every day brings a new revelation about her time as mayor, and none of it is good. The investigation is said to be uncovering explosive details about her misuse of public funds, and it's becoming increasingly clear that Tiffany's actions as mayor were not just irresponsible, they were potentially criminal. The fallout from Tiffany's leadership is being felt far and wide in Dolton. The town is struggling to pay its bills, residents are furious, and the once hopeful community is now drowning in debt. It's hard to overstate just how much damage has been done. Residents have spoken out, describing how they feel betrayed by the woman they once trusted to lead their town. One particularly frustrated resident confronted her during a public meeting, saying, "You lied to us. You do not stand for me, and I want you to step down as mayor today to save our village from the deficit you created." The tension in the room was palpable, and it's clear that many in Dolton have had enough of Tiffany's antics.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for church. That's what it's for. You do that.
Tiffany's response to all of this: she's playing the victim. In a statement posted online, she called the efforts against her a smear campaign and accused her detractors of being part of a corrupt board trying to undermine her. It's a bold move, given the mountain of evidence that suggests otherwise, but it's clear that Tiffany isn't ready to take responsibility for her actions. Instead, she's shifting the blame, accusing others of conspiring against her while she continues to fight for her political survival.
So that's one of the reasons I won't know when we go through our board packets. It's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
But the reality is that Tiffany's mismanagement has done irreparable damage to the community she was supposed to serve. Dalton's financial situation is dire, and the effects of her leadership are being felt in every corner of the town. Residents are struggling to make ends meet, businesses are closing, and public services are hanging by a thread. All the while, Tiffany is busy trying to drum up sympathy and donations through her GoFundMe campaign, which many see as a final act of desperation from a mayor who has run out of options.
I was saying, no, he's not employed by us. So you have got just this gyration.
And speaking of the GoFundMe campaign, let's not forget the sheer audacity of the request. Asking for $10 million from the very people who have already been hurt by her decisions is a move that has left many shaking their heads in disbelief. Even as the campaign gains some traction, with a reported $115,000 already raised, the backlash continues to grow. Social media is flooded with comments from people who are outraged by Tiffany's request. One user summed it up perfectly, saying, "How dare she ask those she stole from to bail her out of $10 million debt? The delusion is real. She belongs in prison." As the FBI investigation continues and more details come to light about Tiffany's time in office, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Tiffany Henyard's days as mayor may be numbered. The people of Dolton are demanding accountability, and many believe that she should face legal consequences for her actions. But whether or not Tiffany will ever see the inside of a courtroom remains to be seen. For now, she's doing everything in her power to maintain control of the narrative, painting herself as a victim while the town she left in financial ruin continues to crumble. So what happens next? Will Tiffany's GoFundMe campaign succeed in raising the $10 million she's asking for? Or will the community's outrage finally catch up with her? As more people speak out and the investigation digs deeper, it seems like only a matter of time before the truth catches up with her. But one thing is certain, the people of Dolton won't be bailing her out anytime soon. They've had enough of her reckless spending, her lies, and her attempts to evade responsibility, and they're ready for a change.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
In the end, Tiffany's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of power, greed, and a complete disregard for the people you're supposed to serve. She may have believed she could get away with it all, but now, as the town of Dolton fights to recover from the damage she caused, it's clear that the community won't let her off the hook without a fight. But what do you think? Should the people of Dolton show compassion and donate to help Tiffany, or is it time for her to face the consequences of her actions? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can weigh in on the madness that is Tiffany Henyard's GoFundMe campaign.